brokers, and some of them are killing it, having record months, consistent settlements, because they're taking the right actions. Then I've got some brokers, and some brokers that I'm talking to are saying the market's starting to quieten down a little bit. And yeah, things have dropped, right? So we've had 6 or 7 rate rises now, and serviceability levels have dropped, consumer confidence has dropped, and there's a lot of excuses in terms of why your business may not be doing as well as what it did in the last 12 months. And of course we need to pivot, right? So if there's going to be that drop, and the leads that are coming in, and even if they were the same as last year, naturally there's going to be a decline, because we can't qualify as many people now as what used to 12 months ago. So we need to really step up and work out how we are going to pivot our business and raise the bar, because if we raise our activity levels, then we're going to raise the business. And from the book, The E-Myth, one of the quotes that I love from that book is, if your business needs to grow, you need to grow. So now is the time to start educating yourself and leaning on other people within your business. I remember a similar time to this in our business. We was going through a massive change. We were going from Wizard Home Loans to Aussie. It was in the peak of the GFC. And I remember a lot of my other Wizard colleagues were kicking the dust. The Wizard business had gone at this point in time, and which was a little bit sad. And it was easy to crawl into your shell a little bit and not take action. But one of my mentors, Rodney Boslin, we got together and we sort of hatched a plan and said, all right, what's the opportunity in this market? And we did the opposite. And we did what a lot of people I'm seeing in today's market who are sort of bucking the trend. We invested. Right? We doubled down in terms of our marketing. We got a team of telemarketers in. We combined a number of Wizard businesses at that point in time, and we went on the front foot. Our clients were out of the market at this point in time because GE had raised the rates on them. So we had a really good opportunity to touch base with our previous clients and refinance them. And refinance them we did. We had consecutive $40 million months, and it was a really busy time. It was really hard to get a loan approved back in the GFC days. For those that lived through that, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But had we not made the decision to pivot and invest in our business, we would not have been the business that we were, and we would not have got used to writing the volumes that we did. Right? So which brings us to the market today. If you want to take advantage, and there are some really good opportunities in the market at the moment. There's still some really good property investment opportunities in different markets. If you look at, say, WA market, which is just starting to take off, some parts of Adelaide, some parts of Queensland, where you can still get affordable properties with good yields. Even some Sydney properties. I was speaking to one of the accountants that I know that's big into property investment, and he was saying he was looking at a property with a house and a granny flat in Blacktown in Sydney that had a 5% yield. So there are opportunities in the market if you know where to look. And same with referral partners. A real estate agent may not want to know you when the market's booming, but they don't have the beauty of being able to refinance their clients. So they need to be able to list and sell properties. So it's a great time to actually build relationships with those types of people in this market as well. So I asked you that question. Are you going into your shell, or are you really leading and investing in yourself and investing in your team and really doing the additional activity that it's going to take so you can earn the same or more than you did last year? So that's what I want to talk about today is around your personal leadership. And I want to, just touch on a couple of things, because if your business isn't growing, it's dying. Growth is natural. If we look outside and we look at the trees, it shows you that, in nature, things naturally grow. And if your business isn't growing, it's dying, right? It's not giving you that sort of enjoyment and the potential that you could be if you really focused on what the opportunities in the market are at the moment. So what we want you to get into that period, I've got a guy there, we want you to really get into the flow, right? So this means getting yourself in balance, right? So making sure you're doing the activities. Are you sort of getting up early, doing your exercising, doing some meditation, some reading, getting yourself primed to be as successful as what you possibly can be? Are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you setting expectations of yourself? If you set expectations of yourself that you're going to go out, you're going to treat it like a game, you're going to play hard, but you're going to compete with yourself and make it enjoyable, then you're going to have a really good chance of really going with the flow within your business. So one of my clients is Sean Broderson, and he spends 2 hours a day just focusing on business development, right? So I think it's around between 10 and 12 in the morning, so he doesn't get too distracted, and he just focuses that time purely on business development activities. And he records it, right? He records the activity and he's focused on what he does and the results that he wants, which means, he writes good volumes. He's in a town called Bunbury in WA, but he writes 300 loans within his store each and every year. And the way he does that, even in a flat market, and for those that know the WA market, it's been pretty flat over the last 10 years, and he's been able to consistently write good volumes because he's disciplined with his time and he expects great results. And he sets the goals and goes about and does it, right? So I love John Maxwell is great. If you want to listen to someone or read some books on leadership, one of the laws of leadership that John Maxwell talks about is the law of the lid, right? So the law of the lid means that a business can't outperform its leader. So if you guys want to lead your team and lead the brokers and the staff within your business, you've got to grow yourself, and you've got to look at ways that in this market you can start to challenge yourself and have a different way of thinking. I was talking to one of the brokers in my program the other day and saying that he's got to expand his level of thinking. He's thinking too small. He's looking in his current local market and he needs to focus on what the opportunities outside those local markets are. And there's massive opportunities if you approach it with that more of an abundant mindset, because whatever you believe you can achieve within this business. I've got clients that are doing in excess of $30 million a month, and I've got some that aren't doing so well and they're probably 30% below where they were last month, and it all comes down to they haven't pivoted. They haven't taken the right action and they haven't grown themselves and they haven't changed what they're doing within the business. So I want to show you something. I want to see if you're playing above the line or below the line. Right, so if we look at the line here, and we see people that are victims in the current market. So they blame the market. They give you excuses in terms of, the clients are lacking confidence. They're not buying, they're putting things off. Or they're in denial. They don't even realize, because they're not focused on sales. They may be focused more on operations, and they're in denial that there's anything wrong at this point in time. Or they have that sense of entitlement, whereas, oh, I don't need to get on the phones. I'm above that level. I've been coasting, I've been, earning good income, I'm successful, and they've got into a sense of entitlement, or, sometimes called complacency, which is really evil within a business. You'll hear them say something like, oh, I have to do this, or I can't, if only the market is the language that you hear. So they're giving you reasons and they're acting like victims, right? So, if we look at the other in terms of, if you want to be empowered, how can you take ownership? How can you take accountability? How can you take responsibility? So instead of focusing on, I can't, you can focus on, I choose, or I can, or I will, or I prefer. And just by focusing and changing your mindset to that of one of results. So rather than I have to, I get to. Right? I get to challenge myself. The market's been too easy. When the tide goes out, we see who's swimming naked. Now I really get to challenge myself. I see this as a challenge. I get to have some fun, and I choose to approach this in a really fun way. One of the things we're doing in my accelerator group this month is having a 30-day challenge. The idea of a 30-day challenge is, the rising tide will lift all boats, but we get together in an environment where we're seeing other people win. We're getting together, we're playing the game. Because at the end of the day, business is just a game. We may as well have fun with it. We may as well play. We may as well do as much as we possibly can. Which leads me to my sort of next point in terms of, if we can have those daily practices, just like you sort of brush your teeth, and this guy's a bit scary, but if we can have that daily practice, then we are going to achieve a lot more. It's not what we do every now and then, it's what we do and how we show up on a consistent basis is going to mean how successful we are within the business. So in terms of, if we look at, those things and we say, okay, what is in your control? There's certain things that are out of your control, like the market, interest rates, those things sit out of your control. The bank serviceability rates, their credit policy, a lot of those things sit outside your control. What are the things that sit in your control, right? So things like, proactively reaching out to your clients, proactively, running some seminars and, expanding your circle. So your circle of influence. So your clients, rather than just buying one property, maybe they buy two. Maybe they look at the opportunities. Maybe they, you educate them on what's possible and how leverage works, how compounding growth in terms of property works. And, not only challenge yourself, but challenge your clients and really focus on what's in your control. And then focus on the growth of your business and really get into what's natural and focus in, previously a lot of leads were coming in and it was urgent and we had to deal with them, and we didn't have to do a lot of this urgent but not important stuff. Right now in the market, what's important to do is focus on what is urgent and not important. Right? What are those things that are urgent and not important? Right? So it's reaching out to your back book of clients. It's looking at everyone who's coming off a fixed rate. There was some super low fixed rates a while ago, but now they're starting to expire. Those 2 and 3 year fixed rates are coming off, and those people are going to get a rude shock. So it's a perfect time to review them. To educate them on how to reduce their debt, how to create wealth, how to upgrade their home and do those types of things. These are the urgent and non-important tasks. the reaching out to referral partners, having a real targeted approach and marketing plan on how you're going to grow the lists in your business, how you're going to start more conversations. These are the things that are urgent, that not important, that you can be doing in your business right now to ensure that you're in the growth zone and not cruising, not being complacent. One of the things that I learned, that I've reflected on a lot myself over the last couple of months is a formula that I learned. And it's been great in my own life because I've been able to reflect on some things that I wanted to change, right? That I wanted to change in terms of the way that I showed up, the way that I showed up in the business, some of the strategy plans for what I wanted to create a business and not a job. And when you look at this change formula that I'm going to talk to you about, it's important, right? Because it puts a few key things, and I'm sure if you look at it for yourself, you're going to go, okay, well, maybe these things are out of alignment for me at the moment. So the change formula is this, right? So the change formula is vision times your dissatisfaction plus the first steps have to be greater than the resistance for you to change, right? So one of the key things that I work with my elite and my accelerator guys with is, do you have that compelling vision in your business? Right? Do you have that compelling vision in your business? Because quite often if you don't have a vision, and quite often when we got started in the business, we had a vision. And sometimes if you've got the vision, maybe you don't have the dissatisfaction to change. Maybe you've been that one-man band broker and you're earning a decent income, but you still don't really have the chance to switch off and have that holiday with your family. You have to run to your emails or answer that phone, and you don't really get to switch off and to enjoy what you potentially could, because maybe the dissatisfaction's not there enough. You're not really sort of aware of how it could be because you don't have a bigger vision for the business and you don't know what your first steps are to change. Or maybe you're stuck in the comfort zone, right? So if we look at, change sitting in the middle here, what sits outside of change is the resistance. It is the resistance in the form of fear, right? So this is the resistance, and to order to get through that fear, and it might be, fear of the unknown. It might be the fear of your success. Or it might be the fear of change. So this is the resistance that we need to break through. And this is why, that having that vision times the dissatisfaction and then having a real clear plan on, well, what are those next steps? And it's got to be greater than this, right? So think about this for your business. And again, I'm happy to sort of have a little bit of a brainstorm session with you and to see how we can help, right? How we can help create a bigger vision. Because if you're stuck and you're not pivoting with what's happening in the market, again, no one likes to go backwards in income. No one likes to be in a business that's dying instead of growing. What are you doing? What are you going to do to really change your business? Similar to what we did back in the GFC. How are you going to invest in yourself and really make a difference within your business? I'd love to have a chat. If you want a copy of these notes in this presentation, just type now in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you again. This has been Ross from the $1 Billion Broker. I'm the founder of that, and I'll see you next time.